Alright, sorry it's been 8 months, but I am going over the garage door design that I uploaded on createmod.com once again because um uh again, sorry I didn't see him earlier, but I noticed a lot of comments talking about how the schematic just doesn't work upon being placed down. And upon testing it myself, yes, you guys are right. It definitely does not work on its own. This is the NPT that's on the website just now. Granted, I already changed a little detail of this to make it work slightly better, which is that I had to make both of these reversed instead of forwards. I'm not sure why that was, but I'll just go over it later. But this is the new version. I'm going to re-upload this onto createmod.com. It also doesn't use any blocks from the chipped mod, which is pretty decorative, but there were several, like, you know, like blocks like this, and the door itself is made out of blocks from the chipped mod. This is all create mod blocks though, so you don't need any extra mods to download this. No add-ons or anything, um, except for Copycats Plus for these slabs here. Um, you could just use trap doors for this, but they are technically necessary as you do need a block gap in front of the door here. Otherwise, these linear chassis here will drag the door backwards. But um, I will explain that in further detail in the block by block tutorial. Okay, so I'm going to start with the lower half of the door contraption. You just start off with the four of these here. Let me face it the other way, actually. Not like that. There we go. I just want the shafts coming out on this end because I'm gonna build it rotated to see how it affects these guys, sync with gear shifts. Speaking of those, one on each side, with them both set to turn by 1 meter. So this one should be forwards, this one should be backwards. Also 1 meter. Reversed. Alright, and then we're gonna have two shafts coming out this way, one coming out this way, with some, oh whoops, with them going out like this. Still two blocks on this side. Gonna have the belts connecting here and here. Okay, now you're gonna place the linear chassis on top, starting with the leftmost one on top of this mechanical piston here. Make sure it's sticky. And you can go out as many blocks as you want, to be honest. Although I would recommend going one block wider than whatever the wall is going to be to cover up this mechanical piston lifting up and down, as just like on this design. You can see it's one block past the door. I also did it on the other side just for symmetry, but that's not necessary. Just gonna build this thing out to 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, that's fine. Now you're going to add glue on top of all of these, not on the bottom, just on top. And then you're gonna take whatever blocks you're gonna be using to build the garage door. I like these andesite pillars; they look very great, especially if you place them horizontally like that. Now you can also place this as tall as you want as well. So I think for demonstration's sake, I will be building this door a different size than that door, although this door here is going to be the schematic that will be uploaded onto the website. But for video's sake, different size door, just to show how you can make it work. Yeah, like that. Alright, and now I'm just gonna add a border wall and a floor real quick to make it a little easier to build the mechanism that goes behind the wall. Alright, now when you're building the walls that go around the garage door, make sure that the block right above the garage is a full gap. That's why this trim is necessary. Because otherwise the the gantry these linear chassis will pull the brick wall back. Um, Perhaps that's what one of the create mod comments was talking about. The schematic it did have this gap here, but perhaps they just tried to fill it and that messed up the machine. Um, so do not fill this gap. Simply cover it with trapdoors or um, copycat plus vertical slabs so that you don't have to see this gap. But for the sake of this tutorial, I'm actually going to leave the gap here just so you can see why the gap is necessary. Alright, and now we are going over the upper mechanism, the one that pulls the door backwards. Okay, so we're going to start with the linear chassis a block above and behind the garage door, with the glue on this side. Alright, so the next step is one block inwards, or I guess 2 block inwards from the right. You're going to go a block above the linear chassis and start building your gantry shaft. However, you're going to break this one here. You don't want any of them above the garage door itself. You just want it to start here above the linear chassis. And the length of this gantry shaft is going to be the exact height of your garage door plus the linear chassis at the bottom. So this door is a total of 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 total in length. And then you're going to place your gantry shaft here. The next thing you're going to do, place 2 gearboxes here, sequenced gear shift, 1 more gearbox, sequenced gear shift right here, and then you're going to add a shaft coming out of both this gearbox and this gear shift here, with this one going 2 out. And then in line with these 2 shafts here, you're going to place one against the wall, going sideways just like that, so that they may be connected via belt, just like that. 1 more shaft here, and then another belt connecting these 2. Alright, now other than the redstone and the input power, that is the actual garage door mechanism done. When it does come to power, this creative motor that I have over here making this garage door work, it could be placed pretty much at any point on this side of these belts here. It could be, it could be placed here, anywhere along this belt, anywhere along this belt. Actually, I'm not 100% sure of that. Just to be safe, I would just place it on this belt. But probably would work on that belt. And I do have it spinning here at 32 RPMs going counterclockwise. I'm not sure how important that is, but that's just how I have it, and that's how it's working for me. So let me just slap that over here on our garage door. Set that 32. Alright, and then we will get started on the redstone. So to get started with the redstone, we're going to start with the copper bulb. Doesn't matter too much where you place it. 2 comparators coming out of 2 sides of it, with one of them going into a block with a redstone torch coming out of it like so. Alright, we're going to have a piece of redstone dust in front of both these outputs here, with a redstone link in between. We're going to set that to receive. We're also going to put one here on the bulb as well, also set to receive. And we're going to have pulse timers coming out of both of these pieces of redstone. I'm gonna set those to 27. I'm not exactly how sure far down they can go without breaking the door. I haven't really tested that, and I don't really want to. Sorry. But the next step is gonna be, hold on, let me look here real quick. Okay, I see. One more piece of dust coming out of both of these guys. Repeater coming out the front. And then redstone links coming out of both of these guys here. Okay, so this is where all the redstone links should be. However, for the sake of not messing up this door while we link the rest of the mechanism to this, we're going to break those two pieces of dust there just for now. And then we're going to just put links all set to receive on all of the sequential gear shifts, or sequenced gear shifts. Alright, just like that. Alright, we're going to start by linking up the closing system so that the already closed door will stay closed while we are setting this up. To do that, these two left redstone links here, we're gonna put two different frequencies inside of. I'm using the brown and orange to demonstrate closing. On this left one here, we're gonna hook up the color that isn't linked to the repeater. So the brown one. The orange one is gonna go up here on this one on the back. Okay, and now to link up the opening system, the one that is attached to the redstone repeater is actually going to be the one on the bottom this time. We're going to do the cyan for that. And then the purple. Go at the top. There we go. And now if I grab myself a button, put it on this copper bulb here, it should work. Okay, so turns out I'm very stupid. I forgot to add the correct amount of piston extension poles. Let me just close the door and fix that up. Okay, so for the length of the piston extension pole, it's going to correlate to the height of the garage door, not counting the linear chassis. So just 6 blocks tall. Got 4, 5, 6. There we go. Okay. It broke again, but I immediately realized what the problem was, which is that I forgot to put the frequencies into both of these. These are supposed to be the same, so that for the duration that the button is pressed down, these are both on and the door isn't moving, so that they both, you know, I'm not really sure why that makes it work, but it made that door work and it made this one break when I didn't do it. So okay, so I just tested it 3 or 4 times, and to be honest, it broke every single time, but now it is working. I think the reason it wasn't working is because I had the button directly on the copper bulb and it wasn't activating those two redstone links. So now that I have the button up here actually hooked up to the redstone link, it's actually activating both of these receivers here, which means the door is no longer breaking on the closing and opening. Okay, I'm going to demonstrate it one more time with the blocks actually there. There we go. Now it's open. Boom. Alright, now let me show you the direction this door is facing in. This one is facing south. The one that will actually be uploaded onto createmod.com, that one is facing west. So let's look at the actual schematic that you guys will be downloading first and see what direction each of these gear shifts is facing in. Remember, move by piston 1 meter. Both of these are pointed forward, both of them. And then with these ones down here, this one is going forwards on the left. This one on the right is reversed. And this one's facing left or west. And then this one that's facing south. The ones up here, they're still both going forwards, both of them at the same time. And I think these might be the same actually. Yeah, left is forwards, right is reversed. So I'm not sure how the other two directions might impact that. There was a comment or two talking about how the direction that they rotated the schematic in did seem to have some sort of effect on things. Um, it might if you tested in more than these two directions, but I don't see how it would affect it. But you know, I'm no expert. And um, that's pretty much it though. Uh, in the in the original video that I showed, I did show there was like some piston mechanism that would block up the little gap in the floor that you would see under these linear chassis. Let me open it one more time so you can see what I'm talking about. Yeah, when it's open, there's a gap here. The piston mechanism that was in the original video, it's not going to be part of the schematic. I'm talking about the one that would seal up the floor here. But if you are going to build that, I would recommend getting the chipped mod so you can have this striped yellow concrete. Just because the pistons do need to be on the actual level of the floor, which means you would be able to see them unless you have them covered with like something from Copycats Plus, like something like this. But yeah, if you're gonna build the pistons, I would hide them under that with the pistons on this row and the you know what the blocks that are getting actually pushed into the block on this row. This is what the final product of the door looks like. Um, I added the piston mechanism that I was talking about earlier that closes this gap off. This is what it looks like. Let me just remove these boards real quick so you can actually see. Do not put a piston right here. I made that mistake earlier. Learned that the hard way. Um, but yeah, just these repeaters all set to 4 ticks into the blocks going under the pistons. And that's how many repeaters there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then, you know, just however many wide the pistons are. And they're all set to 4 ticks, except for this one that's just set to 2. It also does work on 1. I just liked how it looked slightly better on 2. Um, but yeah, that's about it. Go to close the door, it'll pull those back. Boom. Alright, easy as that. And this block here that I'm using is from the chipped mod, striped yellow concrete. You could just use like carpet or something for this part if you wanted to. But yep, that's it. That's the whole door. And again, the NBT file that will be on the page will be this door. Um, the only mod other than create, obviously, that you need is the Copycats Plus. And well, that's it. Hope it works.